Hi guys, it's Ruben here. I wanted to post this on TikTok, but it was too long, so it's getting posted here instead. But this is a time lapse of an Evangelion painting of Unit 1. But while it plays in the background, I am now going to read Reddit stories. Am I the asshole for telling my boyfriend's best friend the truth about why he can't live with us? I, 24F, live with my boyfriend, 25M, in a two-bedroom apartment in a major city. However, we have been fighting for almost a week because of a decision I made spitefully, and therefore I may be TA. It's a small apartment, impossible to avoid him for much longer, so I really need a third-party opinion on the matter. For some background, we've been officially dating since we moved in together 2 years ago when I graduated from uni, but we were hooking up for about a year before then. During that time, we weren't together. My boyfriend, let's call him Sam, and his best friend, let's call him Max, were living together in this house. Max, 27M, has been my boyfriend's friend for years and is basically like an older brother to him. We've never really gotten along, but please believe me, I have tried. It's just that Max never seems interested in getting to know me, or at worst, gets genuinely annoyed by me interacting with him. Sam thinks it's probably the age difference, me being 24 and him being 27. That makes him not very interested in getting to know me, but I think that if he can get on with Sam despite the 2 year age gap, then what's the problem with getting on with his girlfriend, age gap aside? Anyway, it's beside the point, but I think pretty relevant for the actual argument. Basically, Max recently broke up with his girlfriend, and since he was living with her, she rightfully kicked him out. Now, before you ask, no, I have no idea why he thought that he would still have somewhere to live after telling his landlady with benefits that he wasn't sexually attracted to her anymore, but I digress. Now, Max is homeless and has asked to stay with Sam. And yes, if you're wondering, I also live here and pay for rent and utilities, an equal amount to Sam. But I suppose Max only wanted to ask the person whose name is on the lease. All this aside, Sam doesn't want Max to come and live with us again, which works for me because I wouldn't particularly like to live with a guy who doesn't dare to speak to me living here either. I think Sam doesn't want him living here because he used to be a bit of a slob when they lived together, his words, not mine, but I would imagine he also doesn't want another person in a small apartment. However, Sam clearly lacks the spine to say any of this to his friend, so who does he use as an excuse? Yeah, me. Apparently, he told Max he would love for him to come and live with him again, like in the good old days, but his stupid girlfriend won't let that happen. Now, I could live with this if Max could act like an adult about it, but he started blowing up my phone with texts calling me a bitch, calling me jealous, literally just random insults that don't even address the main issue. And before you ask, they're so specifically cruel that I am afraid if I copy and paste them here, that it will instantly become obvious who I am. I've shown them to Sam, but he told me just to ignore them and just do him a favour. He argued that since Max and I already don't like each other, there's no harm in letting me take the fall for this decision. This is where I might be the asshole, because on day 10 of receiving abusive messages from Max, instead of ignoring him or blocking him, I just told him the truth. It was late at night and I was tired and slightly tipsy from a bottle of wine, and Sam was out with Max, still enjoying his friendship despite the horrible things his friend was saying to his girlfriend. So yes, before you ask, I was feeling vengeful, and I think a lot of me did it out of spite. To be honest, the worst part is Max didn't believe me, and if anything, it only made him angry at me. So in a way, the only thing I succeeded at doing was breaking my promise to Sam not to tell him, simply because I let Max get in my head. After I sent the message, I got a call from Sam, but ignored it, going to bed. When I woke up, I assume a couple hours later, I had an angry boyfriend in my bedroom telling me that I was an asshole, not the word he actually used, and that Max didn't believe me. I then asked him why it mattered so much, since Max didn't believe me, but I think he had one too many drinks because he couldn't answer me and went to sleep on the couch. And we've been giving each other the silent treatment. Max has come over for a couple of nights, sitting on the couch and watching football with Sam, and giving me a similar stink eye, but I've just left them to it and moved into the guest room, partially to avoid Sam, partially to stop him from letting Max sleep here. So yeah, I'm typing this on day 5 of the Cold War, from the guest bedroom, while my boyfriend is sleeping in our bed, still angry at me for jeopardizing his friendship. Am I the asshole? 1 day later. Well, for everyone who thought they might be sleeping together, you were right. I caught them fucking and sucking in our living room. Just kidding, but that would probably be funnier than this update is going to be lol. So I'm still here, in the guest room, using Reddit as my only means of escape from my depressing reality, but for everyone who warned me that Sam would probably cave and let Max move in eventually, yeah, he did, and it only took 1 day since my previous post. They are not sharing a bed. Yet lol. Max has parked himself on our couch and shoved his stuff inside what used to be our bedroom. I was working from home this afternoon when the two of them started moving in, so I was able to grab everything and lock it in the guest room with me. Barricade, actually. Sam texted me asking me to talk to them over dinner, probably about future living arrangements since it's clear what is inevitable here. But I just told him that I was coming down with a flu and should be avoided. Even though it's annoying having to talk so nicely to him, I still have to live here for 2 weeks more before I can escape, so I'm trying to act as normal as possible. I'm really lucky that one of my friends is coming back from her work abroad in about 2 weeks, since her parents have arranged an apartment for her to move into, and she's invited me to stay with her there until I can find somewhere else. It's been so difficult for me while she's been gone, since she was basically my only friend in the city who wasn't also friends with Sam and Max. Speaking to her, even if it's the middle of the night where she is and she has no reception, has opened my eyes to how quickly I need to get out of both this relationship and this building. Girls out there, talk to your friends. They're seriously the biggest blessing you'll ever get. So yeah, if anyone has any advice to make these 2 weeks pass a little quicker, it would be appreciated. I think I'm still a devil woman in both their eyes, and our mutual friends are somehow taking Sam's side. I don't know if he spun them a different story or if it's just the fact that they were all his friends first, or even the fact that he's the baby of the group. Yeah, how did I not see that this was a red flag? But at this point, it doesn't even matter anymore. Update 2, 2 days later. Hello beautiful people of Reddit. The sun has just come out, metaphorically speaking. I still live in the UK. And I've been inspired to write this mini update to tell everyone all the petty things I have been doing while I wait for my best friend to come back from abroad, so that we can move in together. For everyone wondering about it, I have amazing news. Her parents have doubled down on helping me and are trying to speed up the apartment stuff, so that there's a chance to start moving my stuff in even earlier. Yippee! As for the update, I thought I'd keep coming back to this post and adding to it every time I did something mildly petty. I know I said in my last post that I was going to live quietly so that Sam wouldn't kick me out, but some really amazing people messaged me to advise that I blackmail him into letting me stay until the end of the month by threatening to inform the landlord about Max's illegal tenancy. How fun is that? Without further ado, here is the list with the dates attached. Hopefully I'll keep coming back to it and editing it, and will try to credit the Reddit users who advised me. 23rd, 24th of September. Had a lock installed on the guest bedroom, put all the stuff I bought in the guest bedroom, such as the toaster, coffee machine, and all my plants. Called my male co-worker over to install said lock. He's gay, but Sam doesn't need to know that, and slightly dressed up while he was over. Bought 2 packets of shrimp, if you know you know. Cleared a specific shelf for me in the fridge and the bathroom cabinet. Started labelling all my things really passive-aggressively. Have not bought glitter yet because I'm so accident prone I can't ensure that I won't get it all over me first, but trust when I say that there are plans in motion on this front. When I left for work, I kept my laptop open and playing Baby Shark over and over again. It was annoying for the small amount of time I had to hear it, leaving and then coming back, and I had several missed calls and texts from Max asking me to please do something about it. Nothing from Sam, annoyingly, but I guess he has more of a quiet anger while Max is loud. I baked, still not confident in my ability to cook steak, but I've always made a good lemon drizzle. I decided to use vanilla extract and white chocolate in the drizzle to make it smell better. Was too sweet for me, but everyone at work liked it. Reaction? Max asked if there was any left, and I told him I had taken it into work since I wasn't fond of it. He laughed, but Sam quite literally glowered at me, which made me feel very smug. I also decided to start grinding my coffee out in the kitchen, and moved it into my room after the Reddit comments told me to take everything away. and I buy a really sweet and nutty blend so the smell is divine. I'm a bit worried with how amazing the apartment smelled today that I may have accidentally made the living situation a little nicer for them, but I think that it will start working really well once I leave. It'll make it more noticeable for them, like Pavlo's dog. Sorry if there's anyone I forgot to thank. I'm totally swamped with the comments and I'm trying my best to reply to all of them. I'll update more tomorrow if there's anything to say, but feel free to comment more suggestions on petty revenge I can take as I begin moving out. Edit. Guys, I made the stir fry with the shrimp. Oh my god, I'm not going to use them. Please stop commenting telling me not to use them. I know, I'm sorry. I thought it was common sense to see that I wasn't going to create any illegal biohazard in a property owned by an innocent landlord. Update 3, 7 days later. I thought I'd give those asking an update on how Sam and Max are reacting to my antics. I'm sorry to say that even though many people recommended taking the petty route, it hasn't yielded much fruit, and if anything I just feel more childish than doing anything. Before all of that though, I need to give a little bit more background so that everyone understands why this past week has been so odd. So, Sam has always been a very conflict avoidant person. I've never actually seen him get angry at anyone, or if he does, he's more often just frustrated in the moment and then apologises. This is probably why in my first post I was almost convinced I was the asshole, since he was genuinely quite upset with me, which is something very rare in our relationship. I've always felt like we don't argue a lot because Sam was too forgiving or spineless. I only realised that I still had the same mindset as my friends, that Sam was too forgiving and always a victim, when talking to my friend Daisy, 24F, the one who was letting me move in with her. Regardless of all that, I've always felt slightly guilty because Sam is genuinely a sweet person who isn't very good at getting angry or holding grudges or anything like that. But then for a couple days this past week, he has felt like an entirely different person. I don't know if it's anger or resentment or some secret third option, but he's been so quiet. I know I said in the previous updates that he was acting civil, as though as nothing had happened and that he was in a denial about the breakup, but I think the denial stage has ended and the anger has begun. Today and yesterday he's gone back to acting normal, but I can't shake this weird feeling that I have, so I'm pretty sure that both our mental states are quickly degrading. First and foremost, please nobody panic. I am safe. I have a lock on my door and a support network checking in with me every few hours. However, since everyone has known Sam for years, and like me, they've never seen him like this before, it's really difficult to figure out what to expect from him. If anyone needs examples of the strange behaviour, it's mainly just glaring at me whenever he sees me and stonewalling me, but I've also started to notice some of my things go missing. It could be hastily moving them to my friend's parents' house, but a lot of them are sentimental items, so it's hard not to point the finger at the embodiment of a dark cloud that's just looming around the apartment. I don't know why it's freaking me out so much, but maybe it's because it feels like a switch has flipped suddenly. I also feel like I'm the one being weird, though, because isn't this what I wanted? I literally played Baby Shark on my laptop all day while I was at work, and while Max called and texted me asking me to turn it off, I heard nothing from Sam. It was also a male co-worker of mine who installed the lock on my door, so yeah, I haven't exactly been acting kind. I almost feel like a schoolboy pulling on a girl's pigtails for attention right now, but I feel so unsettled to have no verbal reaction, so I feel a little bit of an idiot. Like, of course he's going to be angry if I do all this petty stuff. What did I expect? I still don't feel unsafe, but I think maybe my mental health has just hit a breaking point and I can no longer pretend it doesn't all get to me. It's weirder still that Max seems to agree with me about Sam's odd behaviour. Two people who have hated each other for years have suddenly been united somehow by the one they care about, so maybe that's a bit of a silver lining. Today, after I came and turned off Baby Shark, Max knocked on my door and asked if anything had happened with Sam. I told him no, and that the sudden change in his behaviour had nothing to do with me directly, just indirect pettiness. He just sighed and asked when I was moving out, saying Sam was only going to get worse the longer I stayed, to which I told him that it was none of his business if I stayed forever. A bit childish of me, I know, but it's so annoying for Max to try and take the mediator role since that's usually Sam. He just sighed again and asked me to not play Baby Shark, that I shouldn't make him suffer for being in the middle of mine and Sam's issues, which I thought was very presumptuous of him, considering how the fight started, but whatever. I even started to feel later on that night very grateful that Max was here, purely because of how strange Sam was making me feel, So yeah, itching to get out and feeling not only guilty but frustrated that even if he's angered by my actions, he still won't talk to me. Nothing I'm doing or feeling is rational, I know, but I feel like anyone who has been through a relationship breakup after 2 years might empathise with me. If you're reading this and you have any advice for how to get through not only losing your partner but feeling like you've wasted a massive portion of your life on them. Another thing to point out in my defence is that Sam was acting strange before the baby shark incident. I played it on my laptop in my locked bedroom while I went to work, so about 8 hours. And he wasn't even home when I had my co-worker install the lock on my door. Then maybe Max twisted the story. Can I possibly believe that it was me baking lemon drizzle and not giving them any was his breaking point? He just suddenly realised it was over. Am I a bad person for feeling safe with Max? Please nobody comment any incel things like how my female hormones are telling me to side with the alpha male or anything like that. I'll seriously die from cringing. I just need some reassurance that given the circumstances, the fact that me and Max is suddenly getting on a little better doesn't mean that I'm somehow betraying Sam, even though we're pretty much broken up, and that I have no obligation to check in with Sam about his behaviour. The good news is that Daisy's parents have been moving out my stuff over the last week, and now only the big things remain. If the situation gets too weird, I'm just going to cut my losses and sleep in Daisy's old room in her parents' house, but hopefully I can wait a couple more days. That's right guys, Daisy's moved her flight and the apartment is all sorted. I'll be moving in almost a week sooner than I thought I would. Only a few more days in this hellhole. Maybe it's knowledge that has made this apartment so unbearable. Just being so close to freedom, yet not quite there yet. Who cares? My next update will be as a free woman, can you believe it? I'm so grateful for my surrogate family out here, and that they're taking this really messy breakup so seriously. If you think the Reddit posts are paranoid, you guys should meet Daisy's parents, because tell me why I'm the ones reassuring them all the time. Anyway, that's all the information I wanted to share with you guys. Sorry that it's low-key a mental breakdown full of paranoia and insane behaviour. I'm not as mentally strong or mature as I thought I was, and I accept that. Thank you again, Reddit. Update 4, October 1st, 9 days later. It wasn't easy or clean, but I'm out. As I am typing this, I am sitting in another guest's bedroom, but this time in a new neighbourhood, a closer commute to my workplace, next to my best friend, Daisy 24F, who has assured me I can stay here forever. Not that I'm planning to, don't worry. She landed literally 5 hours ago and her parents have been helping me move my things into this apartment all last week. I feel very guilty for being such a burden, but also beyond grateful for how blessed with amazing people in my life. However, before I get into all the details of my move, I really need to clarify some things. Regarding the comments calling out my petty behaviour, I completely acknowledge that enacting petty revenge on Sam and Max wasn't the 100% thing to do, but want to point out that nothing petty is. Synonyms of petty include mean, spiteful, and ungenerous, and that I have hundreds of comments supporting my petty Betty actions. I also want to clarify again that I did nothing with the shrimp but make stir fry. I thought it was obviously a joke, but forgot that there are some crazy people on the internet, so sorry if I made anyone worried that I was going to break the law or drag the innocent landlord into this mess. I never was. I also want to clarify that what I did wasn't because strangers on the internet told me. Sorry, friends, but rather because I wanted to force Sam into speaking to me. Of course, it was irrational, but I would rather he get angry and shout at me, so that then he would at least acknowledge that our 2-year-long relationship is over. Instead, he's been ignoring me every time I bring up constructive conversations and acting like everything is normal if I play along with his delusions. I think a lot of my comments on my last post didn't consider not only that I've been forced into a hostile living situation, but that the person who did so was my romantic partner for over 2 years, and that it's not a cut and dry roommate from hell situation. I will say though, I'm sort of glad Reddit helped me realise that even though I don't want to be a pushover, I don't want to be more of an arsehole more. So thank you for that, it's a good lesson to learn. I'm also sorry to everyone who felt disappointed in me, but I'm not perfect. Hell, it's been common knowledge that I can be spiteful. My first post is literally me telling Max the truth about Sam's lies, purely out of anger. So yeah, I'm petty, psycho bitch, according to some Reddit comments, and an idiot pushover to others. You can't please them all, can you? Other things I think I need to clarify are that my ex-boyfriend is not a cradle robber lol. I think some people are confusing Sam and Max's age gaps. Sam is 25, Max is 27. I am 24. Me and Sam were 21 and 22 when we first got involved. There's plenty of criticism that Sam deserves, but this isn't one of them. Sorry if the way I wrote it was confusing though. I'm still pretty new to posting, so there's been a learning curve into how to present information to the Reddit audience or reposters. Now let's get on to the update. I really wish that I could say that both Sam and Max weren't there when I moved out and I was able to subtly leave a note, but no, they were both home. I also wish I could say that they stayed civil, but the minute Daisy's parents arrived, it's like all the things Sam was holding back this week came out in the worst language possible. Nothing physical, don't worry, but I had no clue that such things could come out of Sam's mouth, so there was a bit of a slap in the face. Some examples of the monologue of insults were that I was an insecure psycho bitch, that I was cheating on him this whole time, that I was going to my new boyfriend's place and he hoped terrible things would happen to me, etc, etc, etc. Don't want to go into more detail than that, if I'm honest. To Max's credit, he's just said nothing, just watched the whole scene unfold, but there's a part of me that's fairly certain he's the one who put that shit in Sam's head. Though getting harder to believe it's all his influence, since it's clear that I don't know Sam like I thought I did. It was a different situation, but I hope everyone will be happy to hear that before I slammed the door on them, that I shouted that I hoped they would be very happy together. R.I.P. to the final load of laundry that I forgot to take out of the dryer before making my escape. But Daisy says she would love to go there and rip into Sam while she's there. I've asked her not to, for now, since I'm definitely done with any getting back at Sam and Max, and just want to move on. My informant, I giggle every time I call them that, but it's high time I reward him with a name, Ted, 25M, has let me know that Sam and Max have just invited the friend group over to the apartment for a party. I wonder what they're celebrating. Joke. It's a shame though. I think the vibe of their party might be slightly ruined when I send them an album of screenshots showing Max's abuse and Sam's dismissal of it. Unfortunately, I had no proof that he was lying to Max. We never discussed the lie over text. I guess because we live together, so mostly we speak in person, but the texts where I'm asking him to back me up are still pretty damning, telling me to just ignore him or block him. Well, now that they're both blocked, I'm happy to report that I have not turned into the new Max. To thank Daisy for her help, I've cleaned the entire apartment, bought this week's groceries, I'm currently giving her a back massage, the first of many. We're drinking rosé. Couldn't drink rosé ever around Sam because he'd launch into a tirade about how awful it is. Red flag. And we're rewatching Love Island. It's awful but awfully good. Any Amber Gill fans in the comments will be welcome, lol. Sorry if this next bit is too sappy, and you can skip if you want, but I need to say it somewhere. I didn't realise how much I missed just being myself, even if it means being embarrassing. Just now I laughed normally in front of Daisy. I have a bit of a snort laugh like Sandra Bullock in Miss Congeniality, and she said something along the lines, I missed you and your weird laugh. And I just started crying. On the surface I think it was because that was something Sam had never said, but maybe deeper down it was because I realised I wasted 2, if not 3 years of my life on this asshole, who didn't put me first and didn't even like my laugh. It's the first time I've cried since this all went down, and I feel like I haven't had time to mourn this relationship or this phase of my life at all. Now it's hit me all at once that it's over and there's nothing I can do to fix or change anything. I don't want him back, there's just a lot of complicated feelings that I needed to vent about somewhere. Thanks, Reddit. I'll update again when I hear about the aftermath of the party from Ted. Oh, and a PSA for some of the ruder comments. I never said I was a victim. I have never wanted to be a victim, and I don't think that I am one. Comments saying that I'm painting myself in a specific light, that I'm crazy, or that I'm lying/attention seeking, are all going to fall on deaf ears. There are hundreds of comments that are kind, helpful, and make me reflect on my actions in a constructive way that they're drowned out. So don't waste your time because I'm pretty sure my last couple of posts have proved that I'm not a doormat or a pushover. Just a girl who wanted to save her relationship of 2 years. Notable comment by original poster. I sent them at about midnight when Ted told me the party was starting and then turned my phone off. I'm not going to turn it back on until I finish my first restful sleep in almost 2 weeks. Update 5 is delayed, October 2nd. 10 days later. Hi all. Yesterday when I posted my third update, I said I would write a fourth when I found out what the fallout from the party was like after sending my screenshots. I'm simultaneously pleased and horrified to say that things have gotten a little bit more complicated since a lot of truths have come out to light, and as a result I'm having to speak to a lot of different individuals to try and get to the bottom of it all. Thank you for your warm wishes and patience. Apologies for the wait, and I will get back to you when I finally have all the details. Update 5, October 3rd, 11 days later. Not to sound dramatic, but I fear this update may change everything. It's been so difficult to write, not only emotionally, but because what has come out is so convoluted and shocking that nobody knows quite what to think. Sorry to everyone who was waiting for this post yesterday, but the revelations that occurred after I dropped the screenshots on Sam, Max, and our mutual friends were so crazy that I had to talk to everyone at the party to confirm the stories. Even now, there is so much to say and so much unconfirmed that I'm not confident this post won't have to be updated with several additions or revisions here and there. I'm also very unsure how to present this information without it sounding insane, but I've realised there is no way to present insane information without it sounding, well, like what it is. To put it shortly, Sam lied. To put it longly, Sam has lied to everyone in his life for several years to the point that I am doubting every interaction I've ever had with any of my friends or acquaintances, and I can't even begin to imagine the scale of defamation that he has brought upon my life. Insane, right? But before I get to the particulars, we should talk about what specifically went down at the party. I wasn't there, obviously, as it was a party to celebrate me moving out. So everything I am telling you now is second-hand information, primarily from Ted, my informant, but also from a couple of other mutual friends who have since come around to my side. Around midnight is when I sent the screenshots I had collected. Unfortunately, I couldn't find any evidence of Sam admitting over text that he had lied to Max, but I did find several screenshots where he brushed off my pleas for him to stop Max from abusing me, and obviously I had many screenshots of Max's abuse. I knew that there were several people in the group who I had talked to about Max's behaviour before who were supportive of me, and so I thought that they could at least save my friendships with them. I sent the screenshots to the group chat we had and then left and deleted it, turning off my phone and settling down for a movie marathon, the Alien movies if anyone was interested, although I fell asleep midway through Alien 3. Ted says that when the collection of photos dropped, literally everyone at the party stopped. He said they were hanging out in the living room when one of our friends bolted upright and asked if he really texted those things to me, or if the texts were fake. At that moment, Max, drunk, apparently smirked and said, "Yeah, thank God that cheating slag is back on the streets," which was when the rest of our friends looked at Sam. The man of the hour was pale and avoiding eye contact. Ted then asked if it was true that I had cheated, and Sam said nothing while Max ranted and raved about how shit Ted was for questioning Sam. Ted then asked again, and another friend asked if Sam had any proof. Sam tried to nod, but then made no attempt to show anyone any kind of proof. Max then seemed to sober up slightly and asked Sam why he wasn't asking Kelly, one of our mutual friends, to show everyone the evidence, since you guys have finally broken up now, so it doesn't matter if everyone finds out. Everyone then looked at Kelly, who just looked confused, saying that she never heard me cheating, nor did she have any evidence of it. What did Sam say to that? Nothing. Maybe it was because he was drunk, or maybe he had realised he had been found out, but he just stayed completely silent, staring down at his lap. Eventually one of our other friends, Harry, asked Sam if it was even true that I was stealing money, which prompted everyone to now turn to him. Sam stayed silent, and Harry then asked again, and asked if Sam had told him last night was even true. My ex-boyfriend's lack of response that seemed to prompt other people to begin questioning him. I won't and can't bore you with the nitty-gritty of what happened next, since I wasn't there and everyone was drunk, but Ted tells me it all started to unravel after Harry's comments. Multiple other friends had been told it was Max who was stealing money, and I think there was even a third version for some others, though I can't confirm. I don't know how precisely they started to figure out that most everything of what Sam told them in confidence was bullshit, but I hear it was pretty shocking. Ted tells me that the party ended soon after, with him and several others leaving, but other friends waiting for cabs told me that Max and Sam almost got into a physical altercation, and that their argument ended with Max leaving to sleep on Harry's couch. If any of that sounds confusing, please remember I heard all of this secondhand from hungover individuals who were drunk during it and have only shared things that multiple people confirmed happened. I was obviously told more unconfirmed details about how Sam lied about almost every part of our relationship in different ways to almost all of our friends. I know that each of them had their own private grievance with me that Sam had told them and then made them promise not to bring it up to me. Yesterday, when I first heard from Ted everything that happened and every lie that was alleged, I wanted to write out a list of everything he's told different people, but it all looks so ridiculous, so made up and so hard to believe that I sound genuinely mental. In my first ever post where I talked about this, I said that I didn't want to include any of the specific of Max's texts because they might identify me, and that for the most part they were very random and not related to the housing situation. I'm sure you can guess by now, but it turns out they weren't so random. In many of his texts, Max accused me of being crazy or mistreating Sam and of frequently cheating on him, which I brushed off as just thinking he had taken the red pill and now thought all women were cheating gold diggers. I will reiterate as many times as I need to, I have never in my life cheated on anyone, let alone Sam. I don't want to share too many personal details, but I will say that my family was ripped apart by cheating when I was a child, and it's part of the reason I don't speak to my parents at all. People may have noticed that with how much I talked about Daisy's parents being like my surrogate parents in the comments of my previous post, but if I'm honest, they're not like them. They are them. The closest people in my life for the last 3 years have been Daisy and Sam, and they both know this about me, but many don't, not because I don't trust them, but just because you'd have to catch me in an extremely vulnerable moment for me to speak about it at all. Anyway, all that to say that Max believed what he said to me was true, not because he hates women, hates me, or is jealous in either a platonic or romantic way, but because Sam is a fucking liar who has been telling Max these things for years. Max's list of lies is the only one I haven't gotten yet, as he's the only one I haven't spoken to directly. I have texts from him, well, from Harry paraphrasing the text that Max tried to send me at 6 a.m. after the party ended, only to realise he was blocked, telling me that Sam had been lying about many things, including cheating, that he was so angry at him and so sorry to me, so at least I know that. I've unblocked him, called, and even texted Harry asking if I could have a proper conversation with him, but it seems that after crashing on Harry's couch after the party, Max disappeared and turned off his phone. If I had to guess, I would say he probably went to Sam's apartment to get his stuff, but as for what happened after, only Sam knows, and I am not unblocking him. Nobody else in the group has heard from either Sam or Max since the party, but it's only been about a day or so there's no cause for concern yet. But I can't lie, I am slightly worried. I couldn't have expected or even hoped for an explosion like this, and yet I've somehow come out unscathed and with my friends firmly back on my side. Whether I want them back by my side after staying quiet about all the things Sam told them, confided, is another story, and I won't lie and say that I'm not enraged that they could hear such outlandish things about me and not say anything. On the other hand, there are also many things that Sam has told me about them that turned out to be lies, so I don't want to be too much of a hypocrite. In fact, this is why I'm so desperate to speak to Max, because there are several things Sam told me about him that could be entirely false, in which case we've been pitted against each other for no reason other than Sam's strange complex. I've already googled what medical conditions can cause compulsive lying, and so to answer some questions I've seen in the comments, no, I've never seen Sam touch a substance other than alcohol. I don't know of any outstanding mental illnesses, and he doesn't have any medications he's meant to take. And I know of no previous trauma that could have made him this way. Could I call up his mum and ask about his childhood and try to ascertain why he did what he did? Maybe, but I'm not his girlfriend anymore. I feel nothing other than contempt and disgust towards him, and I owe him nothing after he lied to me and everyone for years. I'm sorry to say that this is where my update ends. I wish I had more particulars that I could get in touch with Max or that I could tell you why Sam lied or how he kept it for many years. I don't have the truth of anything, so I'm only left with lies and fires to put out. It's not a good feeling, and if I didn't have Daisy, her parents, Ted, or Reddit, I couldn't even tell you what I would be doing right now. Even with this loving community around me and so many apologetic friends spamming my phone, I can't tell what I should do next. People say that the truth is what sets you free, but I feel as though I've become untethered. Or maybe instead I feel as though I've just discovered that I've been untethered for years. So thanks again, Reddit. Maybe I'll update again if I hear from Max again, Or maybe this is it, and next time you'll hear from me, I'll be on Plant Clinic asking about my devil's ivy. She doesn't like the new apartment. Goodbye just for now, and keep safe. P.S. to everyone asking if I got the names Sam and Max from a certain pair of homoerotic animal detectives. No comment. This is where the story ends. If you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing, leaving a like or a comment down below. Unfortunately, this isn't the full time lapse, but I don't want to make this video too long, and the Reddit story is ended here, so I don't really have much else to say. But thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. Please leave a comment down below if you enjoyed this video. Goodbye!